Considered bullying in the workplace?
It's like, technically we're not a full partnership yet, so we can probably get away with bullying in a non-workplace environment.
Yeah.
Because we're not a workplace yet.
Well,
but not for much longer.
Yeah, was it so that? And then I was like, oh, also like, is it like, what if they don't gel with my kind of humor? But then I was like, well, they're not going to work with me if they can't deal with my humor.
100%. It's like, I'm gradually unleashing my
Sass?
sass.
You are so sassy sometimes.
Yeah, it's like I keep it like massively under wraps, but it's just like a very like blatant British sass that just like it's just always just sitting there on the surface.
Oh yeah.
I'm like
as I learn more about you,
yeah,
I'm like, oh, Ash is not the person that I originally thought he was. Like
No.
We have a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
But whereas for example, within
you're a motive.
Yeah, that, and also within the how I fell into the strength game, I was skinny kid.
Yeah.
Picked on for being little, and then I kind of look like I lift a little bit now, whereas you actually came from the other end, right?
Yeah, I was like naturally sort of athletic.
Yeah.
And it's like even now it's just like, oh, can you do this? I'm just like, yeah. It's just like, mine was more just like, I think what I got from like lifting more is just like, hey, here's some like structure. I'm like, structure? What's this? And then just like went on from there. Yeah, it's a weird one. Like there's no like, I don't have like an underdog story. Mine's just like, I should probably exercise. I don't play sports anymore. And it's just like, oh, lifting weights is cool.
Yeah, fair enough.
So many push-ups when I first started. Like just always push-ups.
Which is surprising with the size of your pecs.
No, because they're all close grip, and that's why I have big triceps. That's why I have no pec, and that's why I struggle so hard with all pressing stuff with chest, because it's just like triceps take over. And I'm like,
I actually have a huge insecurity about the size of my chest, like it being small.
it's okay.
In
And then you're
relation
like,
to,
I'm never going to do anything to address this.
I'm like, I better do more rows.
It's like, God damn it. It's
Why
the wrong...
why are my pecs still so small?
It's like, I thought it's like the West Side thing. It's just like, for a bigger bench press, you need a bigger back. And you just like extrapolated that onto chest.
Yeah.
You're
Also
just
you know,
like, I need a big back if I want a big chest.
how tall is your pyramid? As wide as your base. As wide as my back? Yes! I need reverse pyramid back, and then my pecs will look massive.
As in they come out.
Anyway, enough preamble. Hey guys, welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm your co-host, Andy, at Train with Andy on Instagram. This is Ash, at Next Step Strength on Instagram. And this is...
Also a co-host.
Also co-host. This is a little podcast or series on Instagram, YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, about giving you one little topic about coaching, being athletic, training. What we try to do is break down some little bit of information so that you can take it away and use it in your day-to-day training.
I'm glad you didn't stop at breakdown, because that's what I do the rest of the time.
Today's topic is what to do when things aren't going your way in a training session, technically, when you're a remote athlete.
Okay.
So what's kind of hard about being a remote athlete or having a remote coach? So that is, you train at a gym where your coach is not always there to watch you, is that sometimes days don't feel great and there's no one there to bounce that off.
Yeah, there's no, why is this happening? You only have yourself to ask.
That's it. And yes, you can send your videos away, but sometimes you're not going to get a response straight away, which is unfortunate, but that's part of the game of having an online coach.
Exactly.
So what I tell athletes to do, or what I'd love to be able to convey to athletes, is a simple way of, one, breaking down why things are going wrong. And we'll use this for, let's say super turtle, so or powerlifting, Olympic weightlifting, even strongman. Like there's a lot of technicality to each of the lifts.
Yep.
So I think filming yourself is a great start.
Yep.
Removing the emotion from what you're doing is a great start in terms of like, oh no, I'm not hitting my percentages well today. You know, like, okay, it's fine to actually drop back.
100%.
And I see you wanting to add something, so can you?
I really like the filming process.
Yeah.
Not only do you film, you can see, and if you do that enough, you can have a backlog of like information of like, how did this look last time? Are your feelings relevant to the actual what's happening? If you're lifting heavier and it looks the same as when it looked lighter, but you're just not feeling well, like it can literally be like, oh, my lunch was a bit shit today, I'm in a bad mood, and then therefore that's carried over into the gym, and your like subjective like perspective of your performance is actually down, but you look at it, you're like, okay, I'm moving heavier weight and it's moving more or less the same as last time. You have that backlog of information now because you filmed. Also, when you film, what I like to do is sometimes I look at it as I'm a coach, and you take a step back, take your emotion out of it, and be like, okay, how is it actually moving? Like, it gives you an opportunity to learn about yourself if you treat yourself as like you're being coached. Even though you're gonna send it off and get your opinion of your coach later, you can also see like, what did I think it was happening? Send it away. Oh, this is what they think was happening. Connect those two things, and then you'll be able to know which way to go next time.
Yeah. I think having a framework for the technical process of lifting as well is very good. So I'm just going to give you guys one right off the bat, and that is key positions. So are you hitting the key positions statically in a lift? If we were to take a bunch of photographs, so let's say it's a snatch, does your position at the floor look good? Does your position at the knee, position 2, look good? Does your position at the hip look good? Does that position moving up into that high pull look good? And then does your ending position, your overhead squat, both at the bottom and at the top look good? So we've broken that down into 5 or 6 pieces. If we were to think about it as a bench, it's like, does your unrack look good? Does your standard arch and like where you're sitting look good?
Is there any deviations from your standard baseline?
Exactly. So, and you should have those like sort of in your head, or at least your coach should have those.
Yeah, your coach has it because they're sending them away, but that's what like, again, if you film it and watch it yourself, you'll get a better understanding of what your baseline is, and when your performances are good, what does it look like? What does it look like when they're bad?
Yeah. And then the second one would be, how do you transition between positions? So yes, you can get like on the bench, yes, you can get from from the top of the bench to your chest and then back up, and those end positions and start positions look good, but how you get there, the bar path, is also important.
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew? So for the same thing with the snatch, yes, you can go from the floor to, to the knee and then to the hip, but if the bar is going around your knees to get there, or doing funky stuff, or twisting, or whatever it is,
or anything
different, that's a bad thing. And then finally, this is the last thing that you should focus on, will be, what is the rhythm looking like? Am I moving abnormally in terms of tempo, speed? What does the dance look like?
Absolutely. And a consideration to be made as well is also like, when these things are happening, be introspective and be like, okay, is this happening? And then why could this be happening? Like, especially like, let's just go weightlifters or like even powerlifters. What changed in your schedule this week that might have led to something being different today? I decided to do my CrossFit class. Now your quads are blown up, and then now, like, oh, the pull's all funky in the snatch. It's just because you can't actually drive through your legs today. And then when that's the case, does it matter? for this day. Like, you do what you can, you pinpoint the thing, and then decide from there.
And I think it's probably just the last thing that we'll add into it as well is like, you have an intention for your session, an intention for that exercise, but your coach also has an intention for that exercise.
Definitely.
And it's important for both of you guys to meet in the middle.
Yep.
So if it's a new exercise that you've never done before or a priming exercise, for example, a couple of our online weightlifting athletes have like a snatch pull variation that might be different to how they've done snatch pulls in the past, plus snatch. So that snatch pull is going to change very much how their snatch is going to feel, look, and hopefully move.
Yep.
So like, it's important to know, like, why is it that we've given that to them? And that's a question that as an athlete you can ask us coaches, or as coaches we should convey to you at the start of a block.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, coaches, like, we just assume, which is not the best thing, but like, the open dialogue is the most important. So you can ask at any time. And then when you're doing that exercise, what do you think you're doing? So like, all of those external factors need to come together for you to be able to just make a decision. Like, look at that video. Are the positions looking good? Yes, no. Is the transitioning looking good? Yes, no. Rhythm looking good? Yes, no. What are the external factors that have led to me not feeling as great?
Yeah.
And then lastly, you have a holistic picture of where to go from there.
Exactly. If you know what the coach's intentions are and the intention of the exercise, you can adjust as well from there. Like,
Exactly.
Nothing happens in a vacuum. Like,
What?
I think someone said that to me once. But so if you have the intentionality of the coach and you see an issue, it can just be a matter of loading because you're feeling toast of that day. Like, maybe that's the reason the rhythm's off.
Yeah.
Because you're just getting trashed by this thing. No coach is going to be like, hey, you didn't like miss all those lifts because you were trashed. Shame on you. They're going to be like, okay, that's a fair adjustment. Put it in the notes. It's fine.
Let's come back next week or next session, and we will fix whatever issue has been happening or whatever it is.
Exactly.
The main thing is it's not the end of the world.
No, like,
and you're gonna be able to get through it. Yeah.
Like,
Everything in training is a learning experience.
Absolutely, and like, when these issues come up, think of it as a learning experience and use it as a way to get better at learning how you lift.
That's it. Guys, this has been Coach's Corner. I'm Andy at Train with Andy on Instagram. This is Ash at Next Step Strength on Instagram. You can follow Raw Barbell Club at Raw Barbell Club on all of our social medias. I hope you enjoyed that episode. And if you did, leave a comment below, share it with your friends. And thanks for watching, listening, or however you consume this content.
Like, through a straw. That's how I